I am Slick Nick, the red pill pusher of hair loss. I believe that you can simply unplug from the matrix of hair loss and realize that you're being judged on these 10 things, not your hair. That's what I believe. That's the world I've lived in. That's why I have so many viewers, because they're interested in what, there's another way? But then they ignore me because they've been swallowing the blue pill. They continue to believe. They continue to believe that their value, that what makes them attractive is not those 10 things, but instead something as superficial as their hair. That's why I am the red pill pusher of hair loss. Let's check out this comment though, and it's definitely a compliment. Not just a comment, but a compliment. Kevin Mann, the Kevin Mann, the legendary Kevin Mann. Kevin Mann that has more subscribers than me, I believe, right? I'm not at quite 10,000 yet. I'm sure he's beat me by now. Kevin Mann, he left a comment on my video called, quote, "Should I get a hair transplant? Never! I'm way too confident in myself." Here's what Kevin Mann said. And again, this is the Kevin Mann. Quote, "I am shocked you don't use finasteride, minoxidil, or any other compound. It seems your hair loss is completely under control. I start to lose ground if I stop treatment after just 1 month." There's a line like that in the first Hangover movie, by the way. "The cut looks great though. I'd say you're Norwood too, but most people wouldn't notice unless you have any degree. They wouldn't notice that you have any degree of hair loss." End quote. And that comment from Kevin got 4 thumbs up. Let's take a look at my haircut here, my pompadour undercut. We're probably pushing like a 2.5 guard now on the sides and the back. I barely put any pomade in it today, just kind of going a little bit lazy there. So it's interesting because and I've been saying this for years, that the way that a person feels about hair loss ultimately is how they view other people with their hair loss. So Kevin, he's being optimistic. He sees me as a Norwood 2. I say I'm a Norwood 2.5. Meanwhile, there's other viewers who are saying, you're going to go bald any second now. And I still remember when I was 35, and like as of tomorrow, I'm 39 and a half. I turned 40 in April of 2021. And I remember when I was 34, 35, I had a commenter, and they still watch my channel, but they're like, "You're going to be bald by 40. You better go to Turkey now and get a hair transplant." Well, I'm 6 months away, so I guess I'm going to go bald pretty quick if I'm going to be bald by 40, because now the time's here. But it goes back to my hair loss theories that I always mention in that video in the comments right there, that you can listen to my theory. There's 5 questions you ask yourself, best out of 3, or actually best out of 5. That often would be 3, but best out of 5 determines if you're going to go bald or not. And age 35 has pretty much everything to do with it. So now I'm 4.5 years beyond age 35. So yeah, that's I appreciate Kevin reaching out to me, because anytime, again, I've got someone who is also doing what I do, doing these hair loss videos from their own take of it. And someone, again, is well respected and popular as Kevin is, because he does it. It is funny though, because and I reference this, it's like WWE wrestling with viewers. They buy so much into the characters that we ultimately are in these videos that this becomes this arbitrary process as far as a tribalism almost. Like either you're for Kevin Mann or you're for Nick Shell. You can't be for either. And arguably, I'm pushing the red pill and Kevin appears to be pushing the blue pill. And he's doing what works for him and his viewers, and I'm doing what works for me and my viewers, even though only 3% of my viewers are actually red pillars. Most of my viewers are actually blue pillars, so it's very interesting how that works out, but I appreciate that. So yeah, I guess that is, thanks Kevin, that you're shocked that I don't use any kind of drugs, that my hair loss is under control. I think ultimately what it came down to is, and I've referenced this before, that on my channel, you can go back to a video that I've put on here, a VHS tape from 1998, the summer of my, right before my senior year of high school, where I got a perm. And, just kind of a silly thing for my senior portraits that year. But I grew my hair out kind of longer, so I just have this like Screech from Saved by the Bell look. And you can clearly see that my temples were receded at age 17. And here I am all these years later, and this is my hair. And yeah, I mean, I haven't done anything. I did experiment with peppermint oil for a couple of years on this channel, just to prove either way that it did or did not work. But I mean, at this point, that was like well over 3 years ago. So even if it temporarily helped, here we are now. So it is interesting. What I believe is that you are born with DNA that determines whether you're going to go bald or not, and it's largely based on by age 35. So if you still naturally have your hair by that age, you're probably going to hang on to most of your hair for the rest of your life. I mean, again, Johnny Cash would be probably a prime example of that. He appeared to always be kind of a Norwood 1.5, maybe a 2 as an adult. And it wasn't until he hit maybe his late 60s, 70s that his hair started thinning and he sort of started balding. But even then, it wasn't like male pattern baldness where you see the Norwood situation. It was more that his hair started falling out. But either way, you look at his hair by 35 and it's pretty much the same until at least 65. And that's pretty much how it's going to be. Your most aggressive hair loss, in my opinion, happens before age 35. Some will say, well, it's between 35 and 40 because, Nick, you may end up Norwood 3 by the time you're 45. Maybe so. But most of the time, you can predict based on age 35. And again, if you want to learn more about that, just check out the comments right there. But hey, shout out to Kevin. It's funny because in this arbitrary sense of tribalism about Kevin and I, it's funny how opposite and yet how similar we are. So we're opposites in that I push the red pill, he pushes the blue pill. That's my perception of things. I think he and I are the same age. I graduated high school in '99. I'm turning, 40, like I said, in 6 months. I think he's the same age as me because I know the first time you voted in an election for president was the same year I did vote for it. He's from Colorado, I think. Somehow I know that. And I just recently traveled to Colorado and I loved it enough to get a souvenir. I went to Golden and stayed there. Awesome state. I want to start going there every year now. Wonderful place to take a vacation. It's funny though, politically though, he and I are also on different ends of the spectrum. Granted, I'm a libertarian. I am more conservative, but ultimately I'm willing to vote Democrat or Republican, whoever I think is the best candidate that year. But I'm pretty sure Kevin is definitely liberal. So it's interesting to see how that works out. My guess is if we talked about masks, maybe he's more in favor of the mask. And for me, I only wear a mask if someone makes me wear it when I walk in the store. But that's one more similarity that Kevin and I have. He, I think, still is a vegan. I spent half of my 30s as a vegan. I'm not now. But he and I both work out at the gym. I know that because lots of his videos are about his workouts. I'm at the gym 6 days a week, an hour each day. Then I come home and then I walk 2 miles every day after that. So, we're very much into fitness and being healthy and that sort of thing. So it's interesting to see all the things we have in common. And then also all the ways that we appear to be the opposite. So thanks, Kevin, for that comment. Your comments are welcome anytime. And I think it's a lot of fun to be able to converse on this same topic, even if we're seeing it from different sides of the spectrum. Comments belong right here.